So I got a question through YouTube yesterday, and it was, what about the Bible? What about Jesus Christ? Is the Bible real? Is Jesus Christ real? What do you think? And yeah, I had a lot of responses to that. My first thought is, well, why does anyone want to know what I think? Because hey, everyone's got their own opinion about it. And I tuned in some more, and when I tune in, then what it is I'm meant to say is what comes up. So this is much less my opinion and what it is that's appropriate to be said at this time. Here it is. Jesus and other really important figures, but let's just stick to Jesus because that's the question. Jesus Christ has been thought of, and there are literally millions and millions, probably hundreds of millions of people on this planet, even today, right now, that are alive, that have a strong belief in the figure of Jesus Christ as being the saviour of the human race. Now, think of it this way. If there's hundreds of millions of people all putting in their beliefs and their thoughts and their positive thoughts about Jesus Christ, then to me the question about whether he actually lived in a physical body is completely beside the point. The really important thing to look at is because he is so believed in and so appreciated and so respected by all these people, then what happens is he has existence in what we call the first non-physical realms. If you go back to those films which I made some time ago to do with the different realms, the astral, the non-physical, the physical, all those different realms, if you go and look at those, you'll see that's where I'm cluing into here. So the first realm beyond the physical realm, sometimes called the etheric, is the first non-physical realm, and that's where Jesus Christ exists. He exists there because hundreds of millions of people are putting their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions and their desires and their beliefs into him as being a living being, a saviour for mankind. So he literally is that, just as much as Santa Claus is also the universal present giver, because again, hundreds of millions of children, and not so young children, but adults who still remember, have put all this energy into Santa Claus as being a character that is a real character for them. So these characters, they may not exist in the flesh and blood in the present time, but they do exist in the non-physical realms in the present time, and so their power is extraordinary and enormous and well worth being aware of. So for some people, tuning into the qualities of Jesus can be enough to produce a healing, quite a miraculous healing, and that's to do with the power of their faith, the power of their thought forms. So this is what I would say to you about Jesus Christ, or the Buddha, or Santa Claus, or any of these figures. They're real in the non-physical realms, in the first non-physical realms, so I would give them great deal of respect, and I would acknowledge that they can be helpful for human beings in the third dimension, and all power to them. Second question, the Bible. Well, the fact that the Bible even exists after more than 2,000 years shows that there must be some divine guidance involved in that one. However, there is so much that has been added to the Bible, particularly by congregations of rather cynical ecclesiastical people. I particularly think of Constantinople in AD 81, and they took all references in the Bible that were to do with reincarnation and expunged them, deleted them, removed them. So the Bible is a very misused, very maligned, very interfered with book, and yet it still continues to be published. It still affects and influences definitely millions of people throughout the world, even in the present day. So there seems to be something there for people. So it depends on what it is that's your predilection. That's the way I look at it. It's a matter of finding out what interests you and going for that. And for people who go for the Bible, who go for Jesus Christ, they can be great powers in their lives. So if we just go a little bit deeper on this one now, then we can recognise that Santa Claus and Jesus Christ have got something in common, which is there are very strong archetypes within the human psyche, and these have got very great power. So it's literally, we're talking about the power of the human mind, and we literally can give life to these. And a very detailed exposition on this subject is done in practically every single one of Terry Pratchett's books that are written about the Discworld. Any of Terry Pratchett's Discworld books, you will find references to different gods which he creates in his Discworld. And if you take the trouble to study what he's saying there, you can see he's saying exactly the same thing, which is that human beings, through the power of their thoughts, are literally able to create gods and literally to uncreate gods. And he has a little universe of what he calls the small gods, which are the ones that were powerful in the old days, but more and more people have left them go, and so they have less and less power. and until they scarcely even exist. So he's a funny guy, and he's telling funny stories, but he's actually providing you with some pretty keen insights into the way the human mind works. So again, as I've said before about the angels and the demons, it's like we're the ones with the power. We are the ones with the power, with our physical bodies, with our minds that can conjure beings into existence and out of existence. We're so extraordinary, and yes, the miraculous thing about human beings is they tend to discount their extraordinary nature. They tend to forget how amazing they are. But yes, that's what we are, human beings. You are your own best friend, or you are your own worst enemy, because it's through the power of your thought, through the power of your own creativity, that you are literally creating what happens to you moment by moment. And by choosing to fixate on all the things that you don't want, then there you are, busily bringing them all into existence. The more that you dwell on them, the more that you luxuriate in those particular feelings, and putting so much energy into creating something you don't want. Seems like a strange thing to do, but sometimes people have to do that in order to find out what they really don't want. And then the penny drops one day and they wake up and they think, hey, I've been spending all this time and energy creating what I don't want. I'm very good at it. Ah, no, the fact that I'm very good at it is something really great. Because all I've got to do is to do a little internal paradigm shift and put all that energy and use it in exactly the same way to create what I do want, to put the same emotional intent and same emotional charge into it, and that's exactly what I can do. And suddenly I find that I always do have enough money, whereas in the old days I never had enough money, and suddenly I always find I'm meeting interesting people, and in the old days I never seemed to meet anyone interesting, and the only thing that's happened is a shift within myself. So we're talking about gods in the making, gods and goddesses in the making, and this is who and what we are. And those of you tuned into the main calendar, oh, it's getting very exciting now. The last weekend just gone by, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th of September. Important times. Well, we move on from that particular time, because now here we are in the 6th night of this particular cycle. It's only going to last until about the 11th of October, then it shifts again to the 7th day. These are really exciting times. So just between now and the end of the first week in October, be aware that you might more likely to be more inward in your thoughts, in your approach, and that there's a reason for this, and that if you are being a bit more contemplative and a bit more thinking about things and considering things, that's really appropriate. And if you find that there's not so much going on, hey, be pleased about that, because then around about 11th, 12th of October it shifts again into the 7th day, and then even more amazing ability to manifest. So again, I'm being drawn back to this word manifest. It's all about your ability to manifest your worst nightmares or your greatest desires. And this is the point you came to Earth. You came to Earth to learn all about this. You came to Earth to learn about love by experience, being unloved, by having horrible experiences, by being disrespected, by being abused, by having all these different things happening to you that you didn't want, that you didn't like. And that really helped to clarify for you how important love is. So having not love has helped so many of us, so many millions of us, to understand how important love is, and to know that every moment we can either just go that little bit of extra distance to make someone's life a bit better, make someone's life a bit worse. We could start judging them and slagging them off, or we could do them a little favour without them even knowing who did it. And that brings me back to the Pay It Forward button on the website. That's the reason why it's there. And it's not just there, it's everywhere. These thought forms, the thought form of paying it forward, doing something in advance for someone else that you're never going to get any benefit from. What an amazingly powerful idea. And to think it came from a school child. All the best ideas come from the youngest. It's a really good one, that. This is all about more of us being gods in the making. Just taking these opportunities to do the little things that we can do. Sometimes the most powerful and amazing people in the world are the ones that get up in the morning and decide to just give a smile to people that they don't know, and give a little wave, and maybe just say 3 or 4 words in the supermarket when they're at the checkout, rather than just eyes glazing over and ignoring the cashier. Just reckoning that cashier as a human being just for that moment, maybe for 4 or 5 seconds, and that cashier suddenly gets a lift of energy, and then he or she gets the next customer. She's feeling a little bit better, she gives a bit bigger smile at that customer feels a little bit better. The one behind the one that did it originally goes out of the shop, meets someone in the car park a little bit more open, starts having a little bit of a conversation with someone they would normally walk past. You can see where this is going. This is not about big CGI computer effects, this transformation we're going through. This is about really small things, the subtleties of life, the little things. And it's within your power, and it's within the power of every human being that's alive, that's capable of thinking, to be able to make their world better for them, and the world a better place for all of us. And just find anything you can to celebrate, anything you can feel gratitude for. Just tune into whatever it might happen to be, because that's going to cause your consciousness to feel lighter and more enlivened, and that's going to have a knock-on effect as you find the way you present yourself to other people is that little bit more desirable and pleasant, and they respond back to you. I'm just noticing all the time, my life's been a really interesting journey from being someone who's experienced lots and lots of really severe black depressions, being blind to other people, being deaf to other people, just in my own little gloom bubble, to someone who I walk down the street these days and I'm just constantly getting really nice little contacts from people, and I'm getting so much kindness. This didn't come from me, this came from my partner. She had this great idea. Just before I left Spain to go back to England, I intend you to experience lots of kindness on your journey, and subsequently, and this is what I've been finding, increased kindness, just because somebody else tuned me into increased kindness. So here I'm doing the same thing to you, I'm just passing on what she passed to me, on to you, through the film, opportunities for increased kindness. Allowing them happen to you, allowing them to be given by you to other people. That's the way we make the transformation in this world. It's such little things, not computerized CGI effects, it's just those moments we get. So be kind and enjoy yourselves.